My first interaction with Composite was when I joined McLaren Automotive in 2009 to develop the composite tub structure for the MP412C sports car. I joined Volta Trucks in February 2021, particularly because Volta's ambitions are to innovate and push the boundaries for sustainability, particularly in the area of renewable materials within composites. So in the commercial vehicle sector, the materials used to develop vehicles are very much traditional legacy materials. We saw the opportunity to disrupt and innovate the market by developing a vehicle from the ground up on a blank sheet of paper for an EV architecture to re-evaluate the use of materials in a truck structural architecture and deploy composites where we felt that there was a advantage to save on mass, to liberate payload, to provide a maximum payload for the customers in our vehicles. But for an EV company like ours, we are really committed to the mission of reducing the impact on climate, and therefore for us there is an opportunity to support innovation in particularly sustainable materials and composites within in a new market like commercial vehicles. The main reasons we use in composites on the vehicle are primarily to reduce weight, also in applications where we want a high strength to weight ratio, where using a composite gives us a lot of flexibility in the design to create complex shapes and geometry where traditional materials will be more challenging. We have a plan to roll out to our customers across Europe over the next 2 or 3 years. Our initial launch markets are Paris and London, particularly because there is a demand for electric vehicles in that market sector and a very strong potential in those 2 cities, which is why we chose them first. My advice is to think carefully about why you would choose a composite material to fulfill an application for a component, first of all, and then consider the broad range of composite materials that are available in the market, and to do that before you begin to design any components. What you should try to avoid to do is to design a component in composite as a black steel, let's call it, where you're converting a traditional design into a composite, either a traditional carbon fiber, so a black steel, or a renewable material, so a green steel design. If you're coming to design a component in composite for the first time, try to maximize the mechanical and material properties of the material in the design rather than trying to modify an existing component into composite. Some of the big opportunities for innovation in composites in the future are to consider how to reduce the cost in manufacturing raw materials and particularly components to make them more competitive with traditional materials. Another is to consider how recycling and sustainability targets can be measured in contrast to traditional materials to support particularly OEMs like Volta Trucks in helping to choose a more sustainable material like a composite versus something which is traditionally in the marketplace, and to help with the comparison of the cost benefit not only from the manufacturing of the component, but also in the end-of-life recovery of the part, and making sure that the total life cycle of the component from manufacture to recoverability is considered in the cost benefit of the design of the material. It boils down to ultimately the cost of the part for the customer, in our case the OEM, or the customer of our vehicles, and helping them understand the value of the cost of the component, not in just its manufacture, but its total footprint in the life cycle of the part.